Guys, I just wanted to do a quick and dirty trig video here. So let's kind of start things off with a unit circle. Um, as much as things are strange, the unit circle is a brilliant, brilliant tool, and it's weird. Okay, like straight up, it's weird because we're used to circles being circles and triangles being triangles and angles being angles, and the only real angle mattering in a circle is like 360, 180, 90, and like whatever. But welcome to better math where things get strange. Okay. And here's where triangle land and circle land are going to intersect. And they're going to intersect in like strange ways. So be prepared for it. Don't be totally disturbed by it. Be prepared for it not to make sense and to keep the separate worlds separate. And eventually they will overlay in a way that kind of makes sense. But the biggest part right now is to not stress about it. Just keep practicing and understand that I promise you it will make sense if you keep at it. So be careful, right? And understand that it's not going to make sense at first. Now, the only real, like the biggest thing that we use the unit circle for in Math 20-1 is our special triangles. So sometimes you remember special triangles from Math 10C, and quite often you don't, and that's okay. So what we're going to do here, however, is show you the power of the unit circle as it relates to specific right angle triangles. And that's quite often hard to see, and that's still okay. Now, the three special triangles that we have that we're going to be dealing with is your 30 degrees, your 45 degrees, and your 60 degrees. Okay. Now, keep in mind, we're also going to be thinking about 0 degrees and 90 degrees. When we're thinking about 0 degrees, that is exactly on the x-axis. So it's exactly along here, okay, from 0. And you draw a line straight out here. That's your 0 degrees. 90 degrees will be straight up. 180 degrees will be across. 270 degrees will be straight down. Now, like in a circle, you can also go backwards. So this could also be negative 90 degrees, but I'm not worried about that right now. Right now, all we're worried about is getting the unit circle done, okay? The biggest thing you need to know is that this will carry over to Math 30-1. So if you think this is one of those units you can just phone in, yeah, not so much. Okay. So pay attention here, and your life will get easier next year because you're used to struggling with things that just are icky. Okay. So as we go forth, this is a drawing of the unit circle. Quite often what I find gets missed in diagrams is that the unit circle just looks like a circle, okay? And we don't actually have these markers in here. Now, I've gone through, and up here you can see that I've done kind of like this to draw the circle. It's not super important, but just realize that the formula for circle is that your x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Okay, where r is your radius, of course. Now here we've set r to 1, hence unit circle. And here if I graph it, you can see that 1 is the radius of my circle. Okay, and most often you will just see this kind of zoomed in. And so we'll just see it here. Okay, and you won't actually see any of these markers inside, which is totally fine in how things work. Okay, so remember for right now, the unit in unit circle means I have a radius of 1. Okay, and then I'm going to draw triangles within this. Okay, for instance, if I have a triangle right here, what we need to see is that it's going to end up going kind of like, this is your radius right here. Okay, now if I draw a right angle triangle, I'm going to drop an area straight. I'm going to drop a line straight down to the x-axis. Okay, now realize that this is the height of my triangle. Guess what the height of a triangle is? Yeah, that's your y-axis right there. Okay, here, if I go over and I draw kind of a line, thinking about where it intersects, technically right here, I'm going to draw it along the x-axis because it's just more relevant visually. But this is going to be my x dimension. And hey, guess what? If I have x squared plus y squared, I get c squared. Okay, so x squared plus y squared, I've dropped that straight down. I get my c squared. That's the hypotenuse of my triangle. I have a right angle triangle, and I can deal with x and I can deal with y, and I just have a convenient radius of 1, and things get interesting from here. So unit circle, it's very basics. That's all it is. I wouldn't have to worry about it too much. And I'm going to cover in the next video kind of the more special triangles and what we do with that. But here I just wanted to make sure that this part was super obvious.